Fentanyl. Health by Xander Rutherford Parrish. What is fentanyl, and what is it classified as, and how is it made? Fentanyl is an opioid like morphine, cocaine, and methadone. It is classified as an opioid because it is a drug that reacts with the opioid receptors in your brain. Opioids work by activating opioid receptors on nerve cells. These receptors belong to a family of proteins known as G protein-coupled receptors. Fentanyl is usually used as a patch, but when it is used illegally, it is mixed in with cocaine. While fentanyl is synthetic, it is synthesized from the opium poppy, which is why opioids all have similar effects and characteristics. Is fentanyl legal or illegal, and are there any restrictions? Fentanyl is a legal drug only when you have a prescription for it, due to the fact that if it gets into street drugs, it can cause many overdoses. Example, the opioid epidemic. Since the user needs more of it, as it is a drug that you can develop an immunity from, and thus need more, and this leads to overdoses. Some legal restrictions include taking fentanyl without prescription, selling fentanyl without license, making fentanyl illegally, sharing fentanyl with others. What are the medical uses of fentanyl? Fentanyl is a very potent opioid pain reliever. It is generally used in a hospital setting and can also be prescribed by a doctor to help control severe pain. For medical purposes, it can be given in the form of skin patches, injections, and tablets. Fact: fentanyl is 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine. What are the short/long-term effects of fentanyl? Fentanyl is a drug that is used as a pain reliever. This is a drug that doesn't have many effects, however, apart from drowsiness and pain relief. The thing that makes fentanyl so dangerous is that it is extremely easy to overdose. In many situations, people use marijuana instead. Because the more fentanyl you take, the more you need for the same results. This means that the longer you use fentanyl, the more likely you are to overdose due to the increased amount that are needed to feed your addiction. How much does fentanyl cost? 1 kilogram of fentanyl is bought for around $6,000 and sold for an impressive 1.6 million Canadian. This is due to the fact that it can lead to overdose with only 1 grain. What are the social impacts of fentanyl? Fentanyl has some mental effects that can affect people around you, like anxiety and depression. This can negatively affect you and, in turn, people around you. In an article from The Atlantic labeled "The Surprising Ease of Buying Fentanyl Online," it briefly talks about a man addicted to fentanyl, and it says, quote, 5 or 6 times a day, a man from Texas injects a dose of carefully measured fentanyl. He does it when he wakes up and before he goes to work, and sometimes on breaks. It makes him drowsy, but he says people can't usually tell when he has just used. Helpful websites. The end. Thank you for listening. Any questions?